good family? Welcome to my channel, Manifesting with Karmic Side Gal. My name is Shakayla, and here I talk about manifesting the life that you deserve to have, my process through ascension, and spirituality in general. If you are new here, this is the first time you clicked in on one of my videos. Thank you and welcome. Now go ahead and hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be alerted when I post. And if you are part of the spiritual family, big hearts go out to you. Thank you for always staying tuned and supporting my channel. I love you guys so much. Now, if you can see from the description of this video, I'm going to get into a subject that I've wanted to talk about for a while, okay? And I probably have mentioned this before a lot in the past on my Twitter, if you follow me there. And I was actually requested to talk about this from one of my subscribers. Shout out to Briana Kashmir. Now, I know I took a lot of time, like 8 months, getting around to making this video. But listen, Bri, I hope it's okay that I call you that. If I would have made this video at the time, I definitely would not have had the broader perspective that I have now on the twin flame journey. Now, before I jump into twin flame, I'm going to talk about the levels of relationships and, how it is that when we incarnated into this world that these relationships were to impact us and cause us to have growth in our life. Now, these are all based off of my opinions and the research that I have done and also my experiences. That does not mean that it's a fact to everybody. And, different people are going to say different things within the spiritual community. But if you value my opinion, I'm glad that you're here to listen to it. So before we get into, let's talk about contracts. I feel like that's what we should start at, is word contract. So we are on a contract right now, every last one of us. When we incarnate into this life, whether it is the first time or that we've had many lives, we are signing on a contract. Being on earth right now as a human is a total blessing. There are souls everywhere that wish that they can get into this dimension, because right now in this dimension is the biggest opportunity for soul growth and expansion, and also to release any karmic debt that you may be having. Karmic debt is basically lessons and blockages that you didn't learn in the last lifetime, and you basically have to repeat those lessons until it finally clicks for you. Now, we are in agreement with all of these things, and it starts as childhood trauma that we have. It starts in our, earliest relationships, even our friendships. All of our relationships are meant to be a reflection to us, no matter how small or big the role that it plays in our life. I seen a TikTok not too long ago, and it was a really interesting perspective. And this person talked about our realities, and the thing that they mentioned was, how come you never see your neighbors bringing in their groceries? And that's true. I never see my neighbors bringing in my groceries except for one of them. And the one neighbor that I see bringing in their groceries out of all of the people that live in my complex is the one that lives below me, and we have a relationship. We'll text sometimes if I need something or if he needs something. We look out for each other, or if we have a package or something like that. He is in my reality, okay? Now, as far as my other neighbors, I don't really talk to them. I don't have a relationship with them. I don't know nothing about them. And for all intents and purposes, I never really think about them unless I have to, unless I see them in passing. That's it. Now, this creator went on to say that when they become a part of your reality is when you start to question their existence or, understand what purpose that they have in your life. And she said it was as simple as her kids start playing with one of the neighbor kids, and then all of a sudden they were intertwined into each other's reality. That's when they start seeing them bring in the groceries and do month and day things that's within our normal life, okay? And that's how you have to think of your relationships, is that each and every one of them, no matter the short of time period that they're in your life, even if it's just as simple as someone holding a door for you when you're going into a place, even your work relationships, all of these are a reflection of ourselves. They are meant to help us to grow, to ascend, and to be better versions of ourselves. This is going to ultimately bring us into being our higher self. And hopefully we won't have to keep reincarnating into this shithole. Okay. So with all that being said, we are under contract, and all of these different relationships that we have, they could be possible contracts we have. And you'll know when you have a contract with someone because it's going to cause you to have self-reflection. It's going to allow you an opportunity to have personal growth through that relationship. It doesn't always have to be romantic. Honestly, it's usually familiar and platonic. Romantic relationships are the rarest of our karmic, soulmates, and twin flame relationships. A lot of people want it to be love because they are looking for love so desperately because they haven't found it within themselves yet. Just give me a moment and I'm going to circle back on that thought. So the first type of relationship and soul contract we're going to talk about is karmics. Okay, so you can have a parent that's a karmic, your sister or cousin could be a karmic, somebody that you're in a romantic relationship with you can be a karmic. There is really no end in the possibilities of who could be your karmic. Honestly, even our pets, our animals can be karmics. Okay, they're all here to teach us something. Karmics bring you opportunities for growth almost just as much as the twin flame, to the point where a lot of people believe their karmic is their twin flame. It's what we call a false twin. So a karmic is going to propel you to have the most spiritual growth that you've ever had. It's going to propel you into the space where you need to be so that you can be a match for your twin flame if you have one. Because like I said, we choose what we are incarnated, what it is that we are signing on as a contract. And like I said, a lot of this has nothing to do with love at all. It's all about personal growth. So we all have different things that we are learning and unlearning about ourselves. And the best placements in your chart to find out about this is your north and south node. Your south node is going to be your past life energy. It's going to mirror the energy that you have when you are at your lowest vibration, whether that it is your adolescent years, or if you haven't really had any growth and you're kind of still toxic, you're probably still acting in your south node. Now, our north node is this picture of who we could be, okay? It's what our higher self is envisioning for us to become. And it's not all about a specific job that you're doing. It's usually about how it is that you go about fulfilling your purpose, okay? And that is the best way to find out what lessons it is that you're having in life. You can also look up your karmic debt number, and that is going to tell you if you have any karmic debt and maybe specifically what that's related to. You guys can book a numerology report reading with me to find more about the karmic debt. And you could also book the North Node reading, which is a past life meditation. It is a past life regression. So what that means, as in a meditative state, I take you back through your past life to cycle through some of those experiences and lessons that you would have had that are holding you back in this lifetime. So let's get back on track. Now, a karmic, they call it a false twin for a reason, because karmic teaches you how to love yourself and put yourself first. And like I said, this could be in any relationship. These are going to be the relationships where you feel the most drained in, the most taken advantage of, the least valued. These relationships are going to teach you that you are the only one that matters. Your opinion is the only one that matters. What you decide to do is nobody else's business. This is just going to teach you to stand on your own, be grounded in who you are, and propel you into ascension. The next relationship we're going to talk about is soulmates. Now, you can have hundreds of thousands of soulmates. And soulmates, I say, they come and go into your life really quickly. Or they are somebody that you reincarnated with, you made a contract with, so that you guys can assist each other in this journey. You may not know it yet and you may not realize it, but soulmates come into our lives for different points of our lives where we need them. There was something that my grandma always told me when I was younger, and I didn't understand it at the time, but it's like when I first started having friendships or relationships that wasn't working out, and I was just so devastated. And she said, everybody has a reason and a season. And shout out to my grandma, because she stays coming with the wisdom and the knowledge. And it couldn't be any more dead on to the truth. Every soulmate that comes into your life is for a specific person and a specific reason. And it might be somebody that is meant to be in your life for a lifetime. And it also might be somebody that you guys just really needed each other at the time to get through whatever you were going through, to assist each other, to be a reflection of each other, to become better versions of yourself. But honestly, soulmates are really just a connection with your soul that you feel deeply enough to have soul growth. I have a lot of soulmates, and I consider them a lot of my friends and even my past lovers. You know what I mean? My easiest example is my friend Bianca. Shout out to her. You guys know Bianca from the Mindful BS podcast. That's also hosted by Shani. You guys check them out. I'm going to link them below. Now, me and Bianca met literally on social media. We had a mutual friend. She started posting their podcast. And because, I value her opinion and we like similar things, I started checking out the podcast. I loved it. And before I knew it, me and my sister both was listening to it. And we'll be like, did you listen to the podcast? We'll be talking about it, breaking it down. And eventually I followed them on social media. First, of course, I followed the podcast page, and then I followed Bianca and Shani. And it got to the point where we were social media friends. We would comment on each other's stuff and be commenting on a story here and there. And one day she had posted this fire pic. She was looking all hot and sexy. And something that I always do is show people love, because that's just me, period. And I reposted her picture to my story because it was bomb as fuck. She slides into my DMs and she's like, what's up with it? She's trying to talk to me onto some romantic shit, okay? We started talking. Long story short, the romantic relationship did not work out because we both realized that we really didn't want the same things. And we also came to the conclusion that we can have a relationship and choose not to date each other. And honestly, from the moment that we started talking, I knew that she was a kindred spirit. I knew she was one of my soulmates because we were right here with it. And when I say that, I don't mean that we just were relatable to each other. We literally be thinking the same thing. Sometimes she'll text me something and it was literally the same thing I was going to text her. She'll call me right when I'm calling her. It's like we're spiritually connected, okay? And we began working together on a show called Four Brown Chicks. You can still go check out our content on YouTube. And then that transitioned into The Blank Space. And now we are just such a huge support in each other's lives. Like, to me, she's one of my best friends now. Just one of the most supportive, genuine people that I ever met. And I truly feel like God sent her to me, and I feel the same. I know she feels the same way, like God sent me to her. And that's just my road dog. That's my nigga. And I would say that I've had many other soulmates, many friendships and relationships that have come and gone. And I've always been the person, one of my favorite readers Row. You guys can follow her at the Row Effect. I know I'm shouting out everybody I know in this video, but show them some love. And she told me, she was like, you know, I know this is really hard to say, but you're really the person for a lot of people in their lives that they come in contact, and you meant to change them. You're meant to change something about them so they can go on and be a better version of themselves. People are not always going to be with you. And that was something that I had to learn as I grew and as I evolved, that you just can't take everybody with you. But I know that whether any of those friendships ended on good or bad terms, and even familiar relationships, I know that I impacted them in a way that did change their life, okay? So that's a soulmate. That's a soul contract. This is somebody that you incarnated with to assist on your journey and to assist them in their journey. And, you know, it can be and it should be a very fulfilling relationship. And it's just all about understanding divine timing, and that what I said about everybody having a reason and a season. Allow people to fulfill their purpose in your life, and allow yourself to be fulfilled in other people's lives. Use those opportunities as reflections for growth. Last but not least, of course, we're going to get into heavy detail about the twin flame. You guys, I got a big story time for you, and it's a doozy, so sit tight. So when I first heard about twin flame, it was when I got into my last relationship, and I was already reading at that time, but I wasn't yet doing any spiritual guidance. I really hadn't came into myself as a reader yet, or as a healer, I'll say. And I used to seek a lot of guidance from everybody that I knew and everybody that I didn't know, okay? I would watch endless hours of YouTube videos, love readings, and like I said, it was because I really didn't have that love for myself. And I'm still learning. It's a process, okay? And healing is not linear. Sometimes you're going to backtrack. Sometimes you're going to have to, you know, redesign what self-love should look like for you during different points of your life, and support yourself through that. So I would even call all of my friends when I had a problem or a dilemma. I would call my family. I would seek a lot of outside advice. I really didn't trust myself or know myself to have discernment, you know what I mean, to be able to listen to my inner voice. And I remember hearing the term twin flame, and me and my ex, I'll say this was the first relationship I had where I had like a deep connection with somebody, where I felt like genuinely they were understanding of me and who I was. And the first time that I feel like I really experienced intimacy in a relationship. And I wanted her to be my twin flame so bad, especially when it started going downhill, baby. I was just like, this is my twin. This is my twin. We're just going through separation. And that couldn't be farthest from the truth. But what I said earlier in the video about me having to experience more in life before I could really respond and upload a video about twin flame, it was truly divine timing. Because even when I got into my current relationship now, which is the best relationship I've ever had as far as anything across the board, intimacy, communication, love languages, everything that I could ask for in my relationship, I have it. And it's mostly because of all the growth that I went through in my relationship with a false twin, okay? When I got into my previous relationship, I had still a lot of childhood trauma that was affecting my behaviors, how I processed information, how I received information. I was so hard to communicate with. I was very defensive all the time, and I didn't even realize it about myself. Now, this karmic relationship was an opportunity for growth for me. And I didn't realize it until we were no longer together. Because as we were together, I was so desperate to be with that person. I felt like something being with them was going to complete me. But as I healed and grew after the breakup, I realized that I was the only one that could complete me. And I had to learn independence because I was very codependent. I was very emotionally unstable. I was relying on that relationship to fulfill me instead of seeking fulfillment within myself and also other things. So when we broke up, I was devastated because that was the only thing in my life that I was putting so much value into. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I deserved to have it. And that's all in the ego, baby. And the karmic is going to teach you all of that, okay? Karmic relationships, if you didn't get those lessons out the way before you meet your twin flame, you're going to continue to have karmic relationships, and they might be in friendships. They might be with your family. They're going to teach you how to have boundaries, how to be independent, how to be a free thinker, how to love yourself, put yourself first. I mean, there's a plethora of things that you're going to learn from being in a karmic relationship. And what that does is prepare you for being in a twin flame relationship. Because if I didn't have that previous relationship that caused me, so much pain and distress during that time, I would have never chose to think differently, to live differently, to be a better version of myself. I would have never been ready for the type of love that my current girlfriend is giving me now. I would have not been able to receive it. I would have been stuck in that same defensive mindset of thinking my way or the highway. I would be extremely combative still, and twin flame, out of all of the relationships, is the most relationship about reflection. It's going to show you the areas in your life that you really need to work on. All of the things that we see in other people, no matter what type of relationship it is, all the things that bother us or irritate us, or even you wish that person would do better at this, it's low-key areas in your life, honestly high-key areas of your life that you want to look further into and figure out what is wrong with me. You know what I mean? You want to let go of a lot of the triggers that you have before you get into a twin flame connection, because otherwise you won't feel ready enough, you won't feel valuable, and that's still something that I struggle with. You won't feel like you really have anything to offer, and even when you bring in divine masculine and feminine into the situation, that makes it even more difficult. Twin flame is a soul contract that is your exact mirror. And it's not going to be a mirror in a sense of everything like, oh, we got the same music, and maybe we got the same style. We like doing the same things. Twin flame is actually going to have a lot of similarities, but it's also going to have a lot of opposites, because the things that you are lacking are going to be the things that that person is very good at. And the things that they are lacking is going to be what they're going to be looking at you as a reflection, like, maybe I should be doing that. This would make me a better partner if I was doing this. And you really want to be more evolved when you meet your twin flame, but a lot of the times it's out of our control. I want to say that 95% of the people on the internet that think they are in a twin flame relationship are not. That's definitely your karmic. A lot of these readings on YouTube, on Twitter, even on TikTok, they really perpetuate toxicity, and I feel like it's damaging to the spiritual community. Because once you actually really do start to go through a twin flame journey, you realize that the journey is all about you. It's really not about the relationship. It's not about the other person at all. And you may or may not end up together, and you have to be okay with that and just be grateful for the experience and the lessons that it taught you. You're probably not with your twin flame. If you're watching this to find out who your twin flame is, or if you think that's your twin flame, if you guys really have been toxic, if that person has cheated on you or abused you anyway, those are not twin flames relationships. Those are toxic. The twin flame relationship is the epitome of the Lover's card. It's very much Gemini energy, okay? It is universal love. I'm just getting so energized thinking about the energy. This is that universal love, that divine white light from the universe. When you are with your twin flame, it truly feels like God's light is shining upon you. It's something totally different, okay? And this is where I start to go even further into the story time. Now, I will say I'm definitely in a place in life where I am still figuring things out, learning to let go what doesn't serve me, learning how to be better in relationships, really being intentional about the life that I want. But there is very much still times, all the times, when I feel depressed or like I'm alone, I feel less valuable. There's going to be back and forth all the time. And there's going to be times where you don't trust yourself or you feel uncertain. And it's okay to seek outside guidance. It's okay to allow other people, to assist you in your journey. That's what these relationships are for. And as humans, we need relationships. I'm going to link a podcast episode right here from my podcast that I did for a few weeks. Real Life Path 5 Energy in Relation. And on this episode, I really talked about relationships and how they are a reflection to us, how they are opportunities for growth. And I had to realize that. So one day I was feeling really uncertain. I knew that I needed to seek some spiritual guidance. I even was being hard-headed because I didn't want to book with my regular reader. I wanted to hear something new. You know what I mean? And for a while, I want to say at least a year, maybe even more, I have felt really lost and confused in my journey and in my purpose. Even though I very much knew what my purpose was, it's like I couldn't see ahead of myself. And as a Virgo, that was very difficult. I couldn't see what was next. And before then, I kind of always had this insight, this inner knowing to what was coming next. And honestly, Spirit blocked that totally for me. Even now, I'm going off of pure faith, period. Okay, I don't know what's next. So every time I book a reader, they always tell me, there's certain things that's being hidden from you right now. There's certain things that's being hidden from you right now. And that's because this is the time where I really need to learn to trust myself and use my own guidance. So I'm driving from work and I drive past this billboard that I have seen plenty of times. Ain't never thought to get a reading from there. And this lady does crystal ball readings, all kind of divination, okay? I pull up. She's like, she had an appointment for me later that day, so I needed to come back. I feel like that right then and there was the message from my guys telling me, you don't need this reading, bitch. I paid a bunch of money for this reading. I go back, and first of all, the reading was so short. It was nothing like the readings I give to my clients, and I felt gypped. I felt like she was a Miss Cleo, and I was blue as hell. I don't remember shit she said in that reading except for a couple things. At the time, I was really struggling because I don't want to get emotional. I had just sent my kids to stay with their dad, and that was really a difficult situation for me. It was a difficult decision, and it's still hard because I miss my kids. I don't get to see them every day. And, I don't get to be with them. I'm not there just constantly teaching them and watching over them. And if you're a parent, if you're a mom, if you ever have to be away from your kids, then you understand that. But I knew that that was the right decision at the time, but I still didn't believe it. So, of course, I went to a reader. And that is one thing she told me. She was like, this is the time that you need right now. You need to be focused on your career. You're going to see a lot of success within the next coming year, but you need this time to be able to work on yourself and to work on your career, because otherwise, I will be juggling my kids and my career. And I always have. Even when I didn't have a job, I was always juggling my kids, putting them first. And as a parent, that's when boundaries come in place, and even your kids can very much be your soulmates and your karmics. My kids, they definitely are soulmates. They teach me things every day, all the time. And sometimes I say something to them, not even realizing it was something that I need to hear myself, okay? We've learned a lot and grew a lot since they've been on this earth. And the other thing that she told me, she asked me about my current relationship, and I told her the person I was with, and she was like, oh, that's your twin flame. She was like, yeah, I could see that this could be a lot of back and forth. And I was like, no, it's not. Because in my mind, I already felt like my ex-girlfriend was my twin flame. But that was before I came to the realization that that was very much a karmic. And we've been together for almost a year now. And within that year, and I'm going to say within these last few months, I really started to realize my position in the relationship, her position in the relationship, what it is that we're teaching and learning from each other. And through it all, we've just always had so much unconditional love for each other. Needless to say, I left that reading and I felt so confused. And I just was like, what? But in time, all things are revealed. And I could very much say that she was definitely right. And she wasn't no scammer. I just wasn't ready to hear the truth of the matter. And that's why I didn't book with my regular girl. So I say all of this to say, I went through this whole story to say that, your twin flame is going to be somebody that carries unconditional love for you, that accepts you no matter what you're going through, or even your past. They're not going to judge you, and they're truly here to assist you, and you are here to assist them, and you possibly can create a life together. I have been evolved enough 8 months ago to talk about these different type of relationships and the twin flame relationship, because I hadn't yet had these experiences that would allow me to guide you guys through this. So as you begin to ascend, as you start to learn things about yourself, as you advance through the chakras and really learn first to be grounded, to feel safe and secure, and then you learn how to work with your creative energy to manifest. When you really find your power, once you learn to forgive and to practice compassion for other people for what they've gone through, when you're able to speak up for yourself, advocate for others, and also listen and understand as well, when you're able to trust yourself without the acknowledgement or validation of other people, and when you truly are connected to spirit and you understand the universal laws, all of this is going to play a huge part into you really coming into alignment with your twin flame. It could be somebody that you've known from childhood and you just haven't realized. It could be just a friend. You know what I'm saying? It could be somebody romantic. But the twin flame journey is all about you, okay? They are just simply a mere reflection of the things that you need to become. And they're going to help assist you in releasing the things that are not good for you anymore, okay? They're going to help you become a better version of yourself even more, so that you really can experience unconditional love, not only within the relationship, but for yourself. When I say that the journey is all about you, it's all about what I just said, all those things, becoming your higher self, becoming more conscious, really learning to love yourself and value yourself, and just be secure in who you are, being your most authentic version of yourself. And all of these different type of relationships are just a mere reflection, and it's just about you. And not in an egotistical way, but it's like, before we can analyze other people, before we can pick other people apart and say what's wrong with them, before we could say you need to fix this problem and then maybe this relationship will work. Okay, but what problems do you need to fix? What are you doing right now that's holding you back in your life? You know, when we start to really self-sabotage, negative coping mechanisms, the behaviors that keep us from being the best version of ourselves, like procrastination, you know, all of those things, it's about you. It starts with you. And you are the only one in control of your reality. So you are the only one that can make those changes. Being with a twin flame, being with the karmic, being with the soulmate, none of that is going to assist you in evolution more than what you can do for yourself. You are in control of your reality. You are constantly manifesting the life that you deserve with your thoughts, with your words, and more importantly, with your actions. So if there is nothing that you took away from this video, I want you to move into 2022 seeking unconditional love for yourself, practicing compassion for yourself and others, allowing your relationships to be a reflection of yourself, and really seeking personal growth. Know that you have all the power that it takes. You have everything that you need. And every day is a new opportunity to be the person that you want to be and to create the life that you deserve. When we set our intentions, when we build that trust with ourselves by being consistent in our efforts and keeping the promises to ourselves that we said that we would, we are slowly evolving and advancing in our soul. And that's the entire purpose of life. The love is very much a huge purpose of life, but the big purpose of us coming to this world is to release the karma, to release any lessons, to really have soul growth. So if that is something that you care about, if you don't want to come back to this motherfucker again, really start getting into it, really be about you, and use this next year to become the version of yourself that you tell everybody that you are, or that you wish you are. Be your own goals. I love you guys so much, and I really hope that you got the information that you needed throughout this video. Make sure that you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join me every Monday for meditation class at 8 p.m. You can hit the link in my bio to book, or even in the description box. And you know, book with me. Get your life path reading, get your North Node regression, get your numerology reports, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.